Hello, fifth graders. This is Mr. James. I am back with a new reading lesson for today. Today, we're going to be reviewing three different readings that we've already done, that we've gotten done with. That's why I had you keep the books. Those of you who keep sending books back, make sure you check that checklist on the back to see what you're supposed to send back to us so that we know what you should still have with you. So, today, if I can get through slides there we go. Today, our enduring understanding is readers understand that texts can have multiple themes and main ideas. So we're going to have multiple main ideas because we're looking at multiple texts today, and we're going to be determining some of those multiple themes and main ideas as we look at the three texts that we read. So our objective today is I can analyze information from multiple texts. So we've got three different texts: New Beginnings, Beyond the Horizon, and Explorers of North America. We've got a lot of information there, and we're going to analyze it. We're going to go through it, and we're going to kind of look at some similarities and differences between those. So the first thing you're going to do is look at what are some of the similarities of the three texts. One thing that I know for sure is they all have settings that are in the past. They're all historical books. One of them is historical fiction, and the other two are nonfiction. I bet you can come up with some other similarities, maybe in the way they're written, maybe about the visuals that are provided. But I'm sure there's a lot of similarities you can get from those. And then our close reading questions. The first one is, how do exploration and settlement change people's views on the world? So settlement meaning developing cities or towns, sort of developing areas that they've decided to move to. How they change people's views. How do people look at the world differently? And you're going to use an example from the text to support your answer. Now, that can be any text, but you want to talk about how did it change their view of the world. And our next question is, what is the relationship between gold and the exploration and settlement of the New World? So think specifically about those, how in our text people were on searches for gold, and how did that affect their exploration, maybe where they explored or where they decided to settle or what they did when they got there. And you've got to get evidence from at least two texts. So that's why you've got multiple texts in front of you so that you can get at least two examples. And then what is the overall structure of each book? Now, when we talk about overall structure, we talk about the way that it's set up, maybe the way that it's divided out. I know Explorers of North America has chapters with different explorers in them or different explorations in them. Whereas Beyond the Horizon is like a chapter book, right? And New Beginnings is a little bit different than both of those. So you might want to look into those texts, and you should be able to look at overall structure and how they're set up. Now, our vocabulary words, as always, when we get to a review, are always reviewing vocabulary we've already done. So you've already seen the word treaty in the text before, and in my videos before, and in our lessons before, and you know that it's a signed agreement, and that I had said that the two presidents signed a peace treaty that benefited both countries, so it's sort of an agreement that they've had. You've also seen the word historic, and you've probably seen it for lots of years, and you know that it comes from the word history or historian or historical, and that it's a memorable moment, something from the past, and it's usually something important. If it's not important, it's not really historical. And so my sentence said that the election of Barack Obama, an African American, was a historic moment in the USA because he was the first Black president, the first African American president. So that's historic. That's a memorable, important moment from the past. And our last word was civilization, and it is a human, social, or cultural development, and it deals with civil, civics, civility, and I wrote the Mayan civilization once thrived, but was eventually overthrown and destroyed. Then your right in response to reading question for this lesson is writing two paragraphs, not one, but two paragraphs using text evidence from Beyond the Horizon, Explorers of North America, and New Beginnings to support or disprove prove the following statement. So you're going to either say that this statement is true and then give me some evidence about that, or you're going to say, no, that statement's not true because of these pieces of evidence from each